Good afternoon and welcome to the Nantucket Sports Connections presentation of Nantucket Whalers Athletics. We're coming to you live from the Nantucket High School baseball field as your Whalers baseball team hosts the Cape Tech Regional Crusaders in a rematch of a great game. We're scrambling just a little bit to get things going here, so appreciate your patience as we have approached first pitch here. The Whalers hold their fate in their own hands. If they win out, they play extra baseball. The Crusaders also hold their fate in their own hands. If they win out, they play extra baseball. First hit runs foul, runs the count even to 1-1. Thanks very much for joining us here. DC Collins will be joining me here in a moment here once we get a couple things plugged in. Weather is iffy at best.
Yeah, 49 degrees, Chris, right now. Cloudy skies.
And that's a hit just foul to the right side.
We had some mist a little bit earlier. 49 degrees, cloudy skies, east winds, 15 miles per hour, gusting to 25 miles per hour, wind blowing in from center field, so it'll be a tough poke to try to get one over the fence here this afternoon on Nantucket.
Absolutely, and makes things a little bit chillier for us as we sit here into the wind. The 1-2 offering from Buccino outside and away runs the count even to 2-2. Again, the Whalers coming in 7-10 overall with a chance to play some postseason D4 tournament if they can win out. The Crusaders 7-9 in overall in the season, and again we will get to a couple things here as things move along. Count runs full with a full count.
Connor Gent, the batter, the center fielder for Cape Cod Tech, to be followed by Jackson Otis, the catcher, and Mike Shea, the first baseman. When we get a moment, we'll set the Whalers defense for you.
And Gent draws a walk as Buccino unable to find the zone here. Jackson Otis, who will be in the catcher position, second at bat here. And again, I would expect some runners in motion here, although Eli McKeever behind the plate's got himself a pretty good gun.
Mark Kearney's the home plate umpire today, and Steve Pinto in the field, your umpires.
Off-speed offering is pulled to the left side, coming in to make a play on it. Nicely done. Whalers with the first out of the game. That's Alex Horton out there in left field. Why don't you go ahead and give the folks the defense here for the Whalers.
So Bodie Buccino on the mound, Eli McKeever behind the plate for Nantucket, Evan Cranston at first base, Colby Lucas, we haven't seen him in a while, he's at second base, Ron Del Rosario Gomez at short, Henry Tejada is the third baseman today, Alex Horton in left field for Nantucket, Joao Silva in center, and Keegan Bedell in right field for Nantucket as the mist starts to pick up here.
Yay! That's going to be an interesting one, kids. Mike Shea settles in as best he can. He'll be playing first base for the Crusaders. Still the runner on first. One out now for the Whalers here, top of the first. Little lift to left field. This one's going to run foul and out of play off the net. Good poke, though, out to left field from the third batter, Shea.
That wind coming in from center field is knocking these balls down, but Cape Cod Tech getting some good contact to the first two batters. A couple of line drives and foul balls.
Again, the junior Buccino has seen some activity on the mound, and he's swinging a good bat, too. Here, he had 3 hits in the last game.
His counterpart, Mason Tomlinson, the pitcher for Cape Cod Tech, Chris, according to our stats from last year, the last game he struck out 13 Whalers batters. See if he has the same stamina and speed for this game today. But he was dominant in the performance last year here on Nantucket.
Let's hope not.
Yeah,
because that was a mow down for sure. I remember that one, and he was absolutely dominant.
Not a big lead off of first base for Gent. Only about 3 or 4 steps.
3-1 the count to Mike Shea. Let's see if Buccino, he's been erratic certainly to start things here. See if he can find the zone here. Swing and a miss. Good high fastball from Buccino. Shea a little bit late. Ducked his head as he gets a little correction from the head coach.
Second batter in a
Frank
row that's gone full count.
Zano. Swinging a pop-up. That's going to go out of play. So we'll do it over again. One out here in the top of the first, just getting things going here as the Whalers play their 18th ball game of the year. They've already won more than they did all of last season and have an opportunity to play some postseason baseball here if they can take care of business today and do some things. Swing and a miss, strike 3 as Buccino picks up his first strikeout. Second out of the top of the first here. And a left-handed cleanup hitter, Mason Tomlinson, who will also be on the mound. He had a good day at the plate in the last game. A couple of hits, couple of runs scored, I believe. Runners going, the throw down is in time. Oh, Del Rosario Gomez unable to field it cleanly.
Yeah,
McKeever got it there.
Yeah, he was in time. A little bit of a short hop, and it skipped off the heel of his glove, so a stolen base for Gent and a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Cape Cod Tech.
And Tomlinson took high for that first offering from Buccino, ball 1. Second pitch is low, runner holds.
Yeah, Tomlinson last year here on Nantucket played first base, still a left-handed batter in the cleanup spot, reached on an error, had an ground rule double for an RBI, doubled to left center, stole a base, and was hit by a pitch, so pretty productive.
Absolutely. Big cut here. Lifted deep, still tracking back, and over the fielder, Bedell. That'll score a run, and once again, another double for Tomlinson. Nearly had himself a home run despite the wind howling in from right field. That gave one a load.
That kept carrying and carrying, and Bedell might have gotten mixed up with the wind a little bit. It landed about 5 feet in front of the fence out in right center field, but Tomlinson picking up where he left off last year here, doing some damage and putting Cape Cod Tech ahead 1-0 with 2 outs here in the top of the first.
Josh Cohen, the right fielder for the Crusaders, takes a strike from Buccino, still a runner on second. 1-0, Cape Cod Tech fires first. Swing and pop into foul territory and unable to be handled. Cranston unable to squeeze it. It'll be strike 2, but let's see if the butterfly effect of an extra pitch has anything going on. Of course, baseball, the ultimate butterfly effect sport.
Yeah. Cranston had it lined up too. Pretty easy pop up in foul territory. Was drifting away from him a little bit. Cohen stays alive as it's just a foul ball.
0-2 the count. Buccino's pitch, swing and a miss, so nothing doing on the butterfly effect there, fortunately for the Whalers. We'll keep it here as the Whalers will come to bat. 1 hit, 1 run as the double from Tomlinson scores the run. And they leave one stranded at the end of a half an inning. Whalers find themselves down 1-0. They won this game off island in a dramatic fashion. They were up in 3 runs in the last couple innings, and the Crusaders made a valiant comeback to make it a 6-5 final off island, but the Whalers did prevail. Hanson Dalton came in relief and worked out of a jam in the final inning. Had a couple of runners on, but was able to strike out the final batter for the Crusaders.
Run down the Nantucket
Absolutely
lineup for you. Eli McKeever, the catcher, will lead off for the Whalers here in the bottom of the first. Henry Tejada, third baseman, bats second. Batting third, the shortstop, Ronald Del Rosario Gomez. In the cleanup spot is the right fielder, Keegan Bedell. DHing today is Andrew Lavin. He's in the 5 slot. In the 6 slot is Evan Cranston at first base. Second baseman Colby Lucas bats second. Joel Silva, the center fielder, will bat 8th for Nantucket, and Alex Horton, the left fielder, rounds out the lineup in the number 9 spot. For the Cape Cod Tech Crusaders, defensively, Mason Tomlinson, we mentioned the right-handed pitcher on the mound. Jackson Otis will be behind the plate. Mike Shea is at first base. Brett Hotchkiss is at second base. At the shortstop position today is George Mecca for Cape Cod Tech. Braden Wright is at third base. In the outfield for Cape Cod Tech, Tyler Ellis in left field, Connor Gent in center field, and Josh Cohen in right field.
And interesting, Tomlinson throws right, bats left. So an ambidextrous dude.
Yeah, and showed some power.
And showed some power indeed. And he can definitely bring it. Again, as the Whalers noted last year, he struck out 13 Whalers en route to a win.
13 batters, Chris, and to end the game, he finished off the Whalers with 3 consecutive strikeouts in the 7th inning and had one more in the bottom of the so he struck out the last 4 batters for the Whalers last time Cape Cod Tech was here, which was April 22nd of last year. A very dominant performance.
Absolutely. Got stronger as the game went on. Impressive. All the more impressive.
Winds died down a little bit and the mist has stopped, but it's still chilly.
It's raw.
Anybody wants to bring us hot chocolate, some coffee, or some hot tea?
The Muse has got to be open, right? And if you're,
we'll take it here. Bundled up like Eskimos.
Absolutely. Jack Pearson trotting out to third base to Coach Eli McKeever here as he steps in and awaits the first pitch from Tomlinson. Strike call there from home plate umpire Mark Kearney.
McKeever, Tejada, and Del Rosario Gomez, the first 3 to lead off here for Nantucket, trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the first.
McKeever batting .306 on the year. He's got 15 hits, including a couple of doubles, 12 RBIs. That's good for second on the team. And, of course, catches a heck of a good game behind the plate. Count runs to 1-1. Playing him pretty much straight up, high over the head of the catcher. Goes all the way to the backstop, ball 2, 2-1 now the count.
I know you're a native of Cleveland, Chris.
Yes, sir.
And last night, after my late, it was about 2:30 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
to my other job here.
Yep.
I'll tell you this story in a second.
Tomlinson, the 2-1 delivery, swing and a miss. Got all the way to the umpire, I believe.
Coming out to check on him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he took that one right to the throat area. So go ahead.
As we're going, I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, as I normally do.
Yep.
Listening to different sports broadcasts, and came upon good old Herb Score.
Oh, Herbie Score.
From the old school Cleveland Indians.
Yes.
Some calls in the late 80s and the early 90s. I didn't realize he was from New York, but you can hear the twang in his voice.
He
And
was
my
a classic.
God, yeah.
He was a
Oh,
classic.
fly ball.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of New England, a little bit of New York
Yes.
accent mixed in, and I was like, well, how
Absolutely.
does this play in Cleveland? But he was there for, what, a good 20, 25 years?
At least. I mean, he's in the Cleveland Hall of Fame, Radio Broadcasting Hall of Fame. McKeever sends one down to third base. Good clean field, throw across the diamond in time to retire McKeever. Out number 1 for Tomlinson and the Crusaders. Yeah, I mean, he was who I grew up listening to, certainly. I will say, following him, Tom Hamilton does an absolute amazing job. He's got one of the classic home run calls of anybody in baseball, and certainly does a phenomenal job. He's certainly one of my recent heroes of Cleveland broadcasting. But Herb Score, man, there was some lean tees back in the 80s.
He had to make some of those
really,
broadcasts interesting
God.
because the Indians were.
He
not
also
that
did
great.
basketball. He did the Cavs for Cleveland as well.
And preferred doing the radio broadcasts too.
Yep.
And one of those reasons I heard was because if a team, and I know the Indians did not make the playoffs very often during his tenure, but once you get to the playoffs, the TV rights go over to the national guys. So he wanted to be able to broadcast.
Strike one to Tejada.
He wanted to be able to broadcast Indians
No
games
matter
on
what.
the radio.
Yeah.
No matter what, even if you make it to the World Series.
Yeah, and he was just such a good orator, and his accent certainly made it all the more interesting to listen to. Swing and a miss. Fastball goes right by Tejada. He got a big cut on that one, too, try and catch up with it. Count runs to 0-2.
When I was out in Cleveland for a while, Tom Hamilton and Rosie, Jim Rosenhaus.
Yep, those guys are
2 on radio.
Those guys are awesome.
For the Guardians now.
Strike three looking to Tejada, and that's the first strikeout for Tomlinson, second out here in inning number one. Crusaders are up 1-0. Tomlinson actually helped his own cause with a double that fell to the side of Keegan Bedell out in right field, scoring the leadoff runner who had drawn a walk. Off-speed offering, strike one to Del Rosario Gomez. Swing fouled off, so quickly the count goes to 0-2. 2 down here in the top of the first, or bottom of the first, I should say. Strike three called as the Whalers are unable to muster anything against Tomlinson. He picks up 2 strikeouts, and at the end of an inning, the Whalers are down 1-0. They go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. And we're going to keep it right here as the Whalers jump out into the field. Again, they can do something special here if they can come up with a win today. And then they will face the Vineyard off island.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting, of course.
Saturday.
And then right here on Monday, we've got, Memorial Day Monday, calling some baseball against the Vineyard with possibly an opportunity to make the playoffs. Doesn't get any more American than that, baby.
No, it's going to be tough for both teams, too. We read and heard from some of the coaches that Highline Cruises that normally has the boat that goes back and forth, the inter-island ferry between Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, is not going to be operational until the end of next week.
Right.
So these two teams have to go up to Hyannis and then over again and then down.
It is an all-day affair.
Yeah, and then try to do that on the way back, too. So it's not just, the hour and 15-minute boat ride.
And there won't be any traffic on Memorial Day weekend Saturday, will there?
No, I don't think so. From here to Falmouth? No, none at all.
Oh, my Lord.
But, that would be something great, especially, we saw this team last year and the struggles that they went through and, being 10-run ruled a few games and stuff. Yep. And just, it was a different atmosphere back then. And here, these players believe that they still have a chance and that they honestly do. You look at it on paper and just the progression from last year to this year with a couple of players stepping up and a couple of the underclassmen performing a lot better this year for Nantucket.
Absolutely.
Really something to be said.
And overcoming injuries, too. Colby Lucas has been injured for about half the season. He was the starting second baseman. And, Brock Beamish, who, of course, joined us for a couple of broadcasts, was the starting center fielder. He's not out there, still dealing with shoulder injuries. So a testament to Coach Pearson and his staff to really keep this thing focused in. And they have built the culture here, and that is certainly of note, and that equates to winning. And here they are with an opportunity to do something special here. We're going to try and find out when the last time the baseball team actually made the playoffs. I did not get that date yet, but it's been a while. Let's just say that.
6, 7, and 8 batters to lead off for Cape Cod Tech. They've got a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. It'll be the third baseman, Braden Wright, followed by the DH, Nolan Baker, and Tyler Ellis, the left fielder for the Crusaders, against Bodie Bacchino.
Bacchino just a junior, and swing and a miss, evens up the count at 1-1.
Good off-speed stuff right there from him.
Just took a little bit off, and Wright was just a little bit early on it. He made a nice play in the field to get the first out against McKeever, who can get down the line pretty well, but handled it and charged it and was able to get to it in plenty of time. Count runs to 1-2 with the foul ball. Here's Bacchino's 1-2 offering. Another off-speed pitch, and that's laced to right field, but under it is Bedell, and he will squeeze it for out number one. Can of corn for the right fielder, Keegan Bedell. Nice to see him make a play after getting fooled a little bit out there in the wind. And that hit from Tomlinson.
Yeah, that one he was going towards it. The one that that he let drop, or that dropped in back of him, actually was running back towards the fence, so a
Yeah.
little bit of an easier play.
Yeah, and Tomlinson gave that thing a ride in this wind. Nolan Baker, the DH, in at the 7 spot. High on the off-speed offering.
Shortstop for Nantucket, Del Rosario Gomez, playing very deep, almost on the edge of the grass.
High and inside for ball 2.
And you can see Henry Tejada at third. He's only a few steps off the line.
The 2-0 pitch is fouled off. Runs the count to 2-1. Good cut there. But Pacino looks pretty solid here so far. Giving up just that 1 hit. The walk came around to cost him the lone run. Another foul back. Evens up the count at 2-2. 1 out here, top of the 2nd.
He looks calm, and he looks like he's controlling the tempo right
Yeah.
now. And of
Nice
course,
and relaxed.
there's nobody on base. That may change if Cape Cod Tech can manufacture a base runner.
The 2-2 offering from Buccino. Chopped. Del Rosario Gomez is going to have to hurry. Does so, but not in time. And there's that runner you're talking about. Good hustle down the line by Baker. And he earns their second base runner, third base runner, I should say, of the afternoon.
Yeah, tough play by Del Rosario Gomez, but to play it on a hop and charge in. Made a good throw, but just a little too late.
Tyler Ellis at the plate as Buccino looks back. The runner. Good lead. We'll see if he's going quick to the plate. Good fastball from Buccino. Strike 1.
See how distracted he gets. We've already seen him throw over to first base once.
Low, ball 2, or ball 1, I should say. Evens up the count at 1-1. 1 out so far here in the top of the 2nd.
Already 1 stolen base by Cape Cod Tech. That was Gent, who did come around to score
Yep.
on that double by Tomlinson.
Runner not going. Here's a hit to Del Rosario Gomez. Ooh, big hop that eats him up, and he'll have to eat it. Tough hop there on that second hit. That could have been 2. It was hit hard enough, but unfortunately for the Whalers, an error here. And now the Crusaders are in business with 2 runners on and just 1 out.
Yeah, he was in perfect position.
Yeah.
It's not like he was rushing it or anything. He got in front of it. It just took that bad hop that instead of hitting him in the glove, hit him in the upper chest, bounced in front of him and nowhere to go with it.
George Mecca, the shortstop, batting here in the 9th position. Buccino to the plate and gets by McKeever. That'll advance both runners to 2nd and 3rd. Pass ball on McKeever. So the Whalers getting a little sloppy here with a couple of errors and a pass ball now. And Crusaders now have 2 ducks on the pond with 1 out here in the top of the 2nd.
And that's a great job by McKeever of calling timeout and trying to calm down his pitcher.
Yep.
Everything was flowing smoothly to the first batter. Okay, you give up an infield single. All right, there's an error, now a wild pitch, and got to pump the brakes a little bit before things get out of control.
Roger.
So Mecca the batter, the count 1-0. It's a 1-0 lead for Cape Cod Tech. They've got runners now at 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out. Buccino on the mound right now, and coaches and players talking to him. Connor Gent, the center fielder, waits on deck for Cape Cod Tech, and he led off the game with a walk and then stole a base and came around to score the first run. So threatening right now are the Crusaders. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. They lead 1-0. We're in the top of the 2nd inning, scheduled for 7. Wind fortunately has died down. Temperature still 49 degrees. It's cloudy. Wind blowing in from center field right towards home plate. We expect that for the rest of the ball game here. So Mecca will step back into the batter's box, and Buccino, the right-handed pitcher on the mound. Baker's the runner at third, and Ellis is the runner at second base. And it'll be a 1-0 pitch upcoming.
Oh, suicide squeeze. Whalers have a play on it. Buccino unable to make it and still able to make the play at first. Nice job by Buccino.
Well, that's a great job of surveying the situation.
Yeah.
And he bobbled it just a bit in his glove, Chris, and was a little hesitant seeing the runner. Great vision. Saw the runner was going to beat it, swallowed the ball up in his glove, and threw a on target to first base to at least get one out. A run scores, but at least you got the out. So Baker comes home to score. Ellis moves to third, and Mecca is out on the sacrifice that goes 1-3, but it scores a run, and now a 2-0 lead for Cape Cod Tech with a runner at third base and 2 outs here in the top of the second.
First pitch from Buccino is a ball. 1-0, so the Crusaders get a run there. All unearned, of course, from a couple of errors and a passed ball, but does not matter on the scoreboard. Low, good stop by McKeever. 2-0 now the count.
See Ellis dancing around the runner at third base for Cape Cod Tech.
Distracting, if nothing else, the periphery of Buccino.
And Tejada has to play right on the bag at third base.
Ball 3, low once again. 3-0 now the count.
Not the worst thing in the world if he walks this batter. Just make sure the catcher blocks it. There's a big hole. Del Rosario Gomez again close to the grass at shortstop.
And a walk in 4 pitches. So first and third with 2 out.
Interesting to see here if Cape Cod Tech, and you see this a lot in college, Chris, they've got runners, there's 2 outs, there's runners at first and third. See if they try to send that runner at first, get that runner at first involved in a rundown, and then send the runner to third and see if he can score before the third out is made.
So Jackson Otis, the catcher, able to lift and pop one. Here's, Cranston unable to make the play. Another run scores. He got mixed up with Buccino. And Evan Cranston lets it fall in between both he and Buccino. And another error leads to another run.
Yeah, Ellis scores from third. Gent moves to second, and safe on the error is Otis. And so now it's a 3-0 lead for Cape Cod Tech. 2 outs. We're still in the top of the second inning.
So the Whalers got some work to do here. Already down 3-0. Still 2 outs here in the top of the second. Mike Shea, the first baseman, settles in against Buccino, who you can see is frustrated. Swing and a miss. Runners are going. Throw down. Tejada with a tag, but it's late. So 2 stolen bases here.
Otis steals second and Gent steals third. Throw down was, I don't think the McKeever was expecting the runners to take off either, the catcher. So good job by Cape Cod Tech and looking to blow this game open early right now with 2 outs and runners at second and third up 3-0.
Swing and a foul tip. Runs the count to 0-2. We'll see if Buccino can bear down here and get out of this jam.
Mike Shea was a strikeout victim his first time up last inning.
Swing and a foul tip, and he gets another one in the face. My goodness, he is a trooper.
It's our
Shakes it off.
Home plate umpire Mark Kearney, field umpire Steve Pinto. Shea's a right-handed batter, but there's a big hole between Cranston at first on defense for Nantucket and Colby Lucas at second. So if he can poke one the other way, it's definitely extra bases.
Yeah. Still 0-2 the count. The pitch from Buccino. Swing and a foul tip.
Off speed, he popped that one up just to get away from it. Just to stay alive. Again, the runner at third base is Gent, and Otis is at second base. 3-0 lead for Cape Cod Tech. 2 outs. We're in the top of the second. The count No balls and 2 strikes.
Ball high as the count runs to 1-2. Two and two now, the count. As Buccino unable to find the zone here after running the count 0-2 quickly. Whalers down 3-0. High ball 3. And the count runs full once again.
Mason Tomlinson, the pitcher, waits on deck in the cleanup spot. He reached on an error. I'm sorry, he hit a double, the long double for the first RBI.
Nearly a home run, landed at the base of the fence. This one's ripped to left center. It's going to be tracked down, however, by the center fielder. Good play by Joao Silva to get out of the inning. That drops and that scores 2 more, but the Whalers got some work to do here on the offensive side of things. They're down 3-0. We'll take a break here on the NSC and NCTV. Come back with the bottom half of the second inning. Whalers down 3-0.
Girls are strong. Girls can throw. Girls can play football if they have a determined mindset. Girls don't have to just look pretty, they can pack a punch, believe me. My name is Ashley Klatt. I'm on the Nantucket Whalers football team, and here's my story. Girlhood to me was very different than a lot of people's girlhood. I grew up watching the Dallas Cowboys every Sunday with my dad, my sister, and my entire family, and I just loved watching the game, all aspects of it, and I just wanted to get that hands-on experience. Since I was little, I've been bullied a lot. I'm still bullied. I was bullied for my weight, my attitude. It just didn't make me feel great, and it made me very upset at points, but I have a sense of determination that I just walk through it. Being tackled is crazy as it is, but Coach Machado has taught me that when you're hit physically and mentally, that you have to just get up and keep pursuing and keep fighting until that last whistle. You just have to get used to it, push through, and be that person you know is deep down inside. I empower myself by showing people that she's not just here to wear a jersey and look pretty. She is here to get dirty, get rough, get tough, get to some place where things are possible and things can happen. People will give you weird looks and think, oh, this person, they're different because they're a girl playing a male-dominated sport, but you need to always have that confidence and determination. You will always look back on, I did that. I achieved greatness. I hope I've inspired a lot of girls on this island that you can do things if you put your mind to it, no matter what. If you can trust yourself, you can do it. When I threw a passing touchdown.
Want to welcome you back to the NHS fields here off Bacchus Lane as the Whalers come to bat here in the home half of the second inning. They're down 3-0. Some sloppy play in the field led to a couple of runs. Swing and a miss. Tomlinson throws it right by Keegan Bedell. It'll be Bedell, Andrew Lavin, and Evan Cranston. The three due up. And if the Whalers make it past that, Colby Lucas. Ball high, runs the count even, 2-1, excuse me, 2 balls, 1 strike. The Crusaders left a couple on base, could have been worse actually. Oh, that one hits him in the head. And he just kind of brushes it off and sprints down the line. Fortunately, a breaking ball there.
Yeah. I think the umpire's kind of thankful it it hit him, Bedell, instead of hitting the umpire, because Matt Kearney's had a heck of a day so far behind the plate as the umpire.
Gotten a foul off and a hit to the throat as Lavin stands in, swing and a miss. Good cut from Andrew Lavin. He's the DH this afternoon, as Bodie Bacino will stay on the mound and not bat.
Bedell, the first base runner for Nantucket this afternoon.
Low evens up the count at 1-1. Again, the Whalers rallied off island to take a 6-3 lead, and then Cape Tech rallied back and nearly completed the comeback with runners on base in the latter half of the 7th inning. So these two teams are very evenly matched and should have opportunities here for the Whalers. Just outside, runs the count to 3-1.
There is some activity. A right-handed pitcher warming up for the Whalers right next to their dugout on the first base side.
Strike 2, the call. Evens up the count at 2-2, actually. Good lead by Battelle, but he stayed put. Ooh. Looked a little high. Lavin looked at it, but a strikeout called as Tomlinson picks up his third K of the afternoon.
Yeah, right at the elbows there. Lavin was swinging at pitches that were a little bit lower than that. Doesn't like it, but back to the dugout.
So 1 out now for Evan Cranston as he settles in. He's had a tough afternoon so far out in the field. Couple of errors, dropped a foul ball, and then let a little pop-up land in front of him as a runner scored with 2 outs. He can make up for it here. Slaps one to the right side. That'll get through. They're going to hold up the runner. So a solid base hit. First hit of the afternoon for the Whalers comes from Evan Cranston as he goes the opposite way for a base hit. So the runners, 2 runners on for the Whalers here, first and second. Brings up Colby Lucas,
our buddy,
who's playing
our partner,
second base, and of course has spent some time here with us on air and made the trip to Fenway. And he has one land, a little cue ball, and a good hustle, but a little too late. So Lucas cues one to third base. That was handled momentarily by Braden Wright and able to get the force out. Now 2 down as the number 8 hitter, Joao Silva, will step into the plate. Still with an opportunity to maybe get a run back here if he can get a base hit. Just outside and low, the first offering from Tomlinson.
So on that play, Bedell forced out a third, fielder's choice, 5 unassisted. Moving up to second is Cranston, as you mentioned. Lucas safe at first. 2 outs, though, for the Whalers.
And that one's popped. It'll land fair and stay fair. And going and throwing it through third base. The runner will score for the Whalers. Coming into third base and out at third base is Colby Lucas. But the run counts. So the Whalers draw back to within 2 runs at 3-1 as the Crusaders got a little sloppy there momentarily. It looked like Lucas beat the throw, but unable to slide in safely. So we'll take another break here on the NSC and NCTV and come back with the top of the 3rd inning. The Whalers now down 3-1.
You know how they send the advisory announcements in an email? I never read those.
Same, and then I never know what's going on.
Your advisor should be showing the Whaler word during advisory.
Or you can check out old and new episodes on Nantucket High School YouTube channel.
We also have sports updates, field coverage, arts, and entertainment.
And weather.
What days does it broadcast?
Thursdays!
NCTV is also showing our episodes on the local channels throughout the day.
And don't forget to like and follow our Instagram, Whaler_word.
For more behind the scenes content and further
updates.
But definitely every Thursday during advisory, right?
Bro, it's fire. You gotta check it out. And if your advisor isn't showing it, tell them to lock in.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Looking back to live action here. First pitch was a strike. That's Mason Tomlinson, the cleanup hitter for the Crusaders. He laced one out into right field that Bedell was unable to handle. Went as a double and scored a run. He opened up the scoring and was stranded. He takes strike two from Buccino, who again is settling in here. Off-speed pitch bounces in and
They'll say it hit him.
Apparently hit him.
Oh.
I thought if it hits the ground, that's a dead ball. No? No?
I didn't see it hit him.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw it bounce
either.
up there, and I thought it caught a piece of the catcher's equipment.
But
Tomlinson gets hit by a pitch to lead off the top of the third.
Kearney sends him to first base, so the leadoff runner on for the Crusaders.
Josh Cohen now the batter. He struck out swinging his first time up.
Swing and a miss. Pulled through on that one. Good pitch by Buccino.
Again, a right-handed batter, so a big hole between first and second if he could go the other way, if Cohen can.
And a bunt attempt. Runs the count to 0-2 as the wind howls through us here.
Again, blowing in from center field right towards home plate, and we've seen it wreak havoc with a couple of plays for the Whalers defensively earlier in this ballgame.
0-2 pitch, swung and tipped. Foul tipped back to the fence. So we'll do it again at 0-2.
Braden Wright waits on deck for Cape Cod Tech. He flied out to right field in his first plate appearance.
And it bounces to McKeever. And no play, although the ball does make its way all the way to center field. We'll just say Tomlinson not fleet of foot, but he did make it to second base.
Not agile.
Nah. Still an 0-2, a 1-2 count now, actually. To Cohen, and he fouls off another one. So thanks for joining us here on the NSC and NCTV. Of course, the boys lacrosse team celebrating their seniors against Monomoy. If you want to flip back and forth on Channel 8 and 1072, we're glad you're with us here for some good baseball. Whalers manufactured a run and now are down just 3-1 our score. Top of the third, nobody out. Runner on second is Tomlinson. He was hit by a pitch apparently. And this one lifted out of play to the right side, so a good battle between Bodie Buccino and Josh Cohen. 2-2 is the count.
Too many balls in the swamps, and the umpire calling for a couple new baseballs here. Sky's lightened up just a bit. We got rid of the mist after about the after the first half of an inning, but wind's still picking up, and now it looks like it's blowing in from right center field, blowing towards home plate and third base.
It is coming right in our face where we are on the third base side. High ball 3, so working the count to full is Cohen. Still nobody out here in the top of the third.
3 walks given up so far by Buccino and a hit batter.
Swing and a miss. Buccino finally gets to him for the first out of the top of the third. That is the third strikeout for Buccino. All the swinging variety. And it's Braden Wright stepping to the plate with 1 out. He sits one right back to Buccino. They've got the runner at third, but he decides to go to first wisely for the second out. Advancing is Tomlinson. Yeah, that's one of the ones where you throw it to third and
all kinds of things
can happen. All kinds of things can happen.
Better to get the short
without
out.
the tag or any of that stuff. It wasn't a force play, so wisely Buccino takes the out. And if he can work around this batter, it doesn't matter what happens to Tomlinson, he can stay at third. It'll be
Nolan Baker, the DH in the 7th slot today. Reached on an infield single and also came around to score a run.
High ball 1.
Yeah, that's one of those plays. If there's nobody out, okay, take it. But there's 1 out, you don't want to mess around with it. An overthrow, that
gotta be sure.
Get the second out, and all you need is 1 more to get out of the inning.
Absolutely. The 1-0 offering as Buccino steps off.
And Baker didn't even step out of the box. He's still holding his batting stance.
A little gamesmanship between the pitcher and batter. Swing and dribbled to Buccino. He'll fire to first, and Buccino works around a leadoff hit by a pitch, and we'll keep it here in between the top half and bottom half of the third. Whalers down 3-1 as they finally got to Tomlinson here in the last inning. We'll see if they can do something. It's back to the top of the order, I believe. Alex Horton, actually, the 9-hitter, then back to the top. Eli McKeever and Henry Tejada. Had a nice ceremony. 6 seniors honored over at Vito Capizzo Stadium before I hopped in the truck and ventured over here.
And they will be playing a couple more games.
They do. They have another game against Boston Latin, scheduled for tomorrow. We'll see how and when and if that one gets rescheduled, because all sorts of boat problems and issues with Saturday and Sunday because of the traffic and all sorts of stuff. So we'll see. It might be one of those no contests, which would definitely hurt the Whalers as they need every point. They're battling in the number 5 position. If they can jump into that 4 position, they could potentially host 3 games. As long as they stay in the top 8, which should be no problem even if a no contest happens, they will host 2. So that's, pretty good. But to have to travel to an Ipswich or Manchester, Essex, instead of staying at home, that's definitely an advantage or disadvantage depending on if the Whalers can hold home, get into that 4 spot or not. Again, they should handle their business against Monomoy. They beat them 13-3 off Island, but you still got to play the game.
And here, Nantucket needs to win out in order to qualify for the playoffs. So a must-win game today, then the must-win at Martha's Vineyard scheduled for Saturday, and then we are definitely back here Monday, win, lose, or draw, for their final regular season game against the Vineyard here on NCTV and the NSC.
That's a great way to finish off the regular season against the Vineyard.
Let's hope it's a little bit warmer and a little bit more sunny, right? Because I know January is just around the corner.
Woo. Strike 1 from Tomlinson as Alex Horton settles in. He's playing left field today.
First plate appearances. Tomlinson has been pretty effective, giving up 1 run on the mound for Cape Cod Tech this afternoon.
And that was an error on a throw. Whalers have mustered just 1 hit off of Tomlinson. 3 strikeouts so far for the big right-hander. Tried to offer, but didn't pull the trigger. Count runs to 1-2 for Horton, the number 9 hitter for Coach Pearson and the Whalers. Playing him pretty straight up and shallow in the outfield. Swing and a miss as Horton goes down on strikes, bringing up Eli McKeever. grounded out to start things off. Sent one down the third base line.
4 strikeouts so far for Tomlinson. Infielders pinched in at the corners.
McKeever takes low, ball 1. Again, a pretty good breeze coming in from right field. High, ball 2. McKeever works it to a hitter's pitch here. See if he can do something with it.
Yeah, we started about 45 minutes ago with the wind blowing in from center field. Now it's switched over to right field.
McKeever takes high, ball 3. So got to be juicy for him to have the green light here.
Tomlinson has not walked anybody so far this afternoon, but he did hit Bedell back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, right off the helmet. Ball high, and McKeever takes a trot down the first base line. He is a base runner with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Whalers down 3-1. And we'll get a quick chat between Jax and Otis.
I want to say thanks to all of our sponsors, both for the lacrosse game and the baseball game today, bringing you this coverage of Nantucket Athletics and everybody watching at the Chicken Box on Dave Street.
Nice.
7-day weekend will be the band. It's
nice.
Friday,
Perfect.
Saturday, and Sunday, in between DJ Lazy Boy. And don't worry, Knicks fans, we will have the game on for you. You know, this is the first time
That's going to be a great series.
we looked at it the other night. I'll get to it after this pitch.
And McKeever goes, and he's in there at second base. Stolen base for the catcher, number 24. Ball 1 to Tejada.
So back in, I think the last time that neither the Celtics or the Bruins went this far was 2016.
Okay.
So usually for Galway weekend, there's either a Celtics
Sure.
or a Bruins game on one night that we have on the TVs. But
Swing and a miss by Tejada. Heck
be
of a
odd.
good year, that 2016-2017, however.
yeah, it's going to be odd not hearing the Let's Go Bruins, Let's Go Celtics
Right?
chants at all the bars on Nantucket
Right?
this weekend.
That is interesting.
Right here, Let's Go Knicks, or Go New York, Go New York, Go.
Man. That is not fun to listen to.
But yeah, very
Of course,
odd
the
that-
Pacers took care of my Cavs in convincing fashion. You're going to have to see what transpires in the offseason there.
Well, us Sixers fans are still waiting for that process for
Right.
7 or 8 years.
Strike 2 to Tejada. Didn't agree with the pitch.
Tejada struck out looking his first time up, and Ronald Del Rosario Gomez waits on deck for the Whalers.
1-2 the count, 1 out. Runner on second. Oh, just missed. Wow. That looked good from where we were, but maybe just a bit outside.
I think it fooled everybody, pitcher, catcher, and batter
Yeah.
right there.
So Tejada with an extra pitch here. That's a bit of a gift. Let's see if he can take advantage of it here and put it in play. Runners going to third. Throw down. No chance. McKeever upstanding. And the pitch was a ball. Looked, again, pretty close to the strike zone there. Tejada took. So he knows something we don't. Of course, we're looking from the third base side, so we don't know left and right directional.
And McKeever back-to-back stolen bases.
Full count. Tejada with a foul pitch. Foul tip.
McKeever with a pretty big lead off of third base.
Here's the full count offering to Tejada. Swing and right lace. Look out, coach. Pearson gets out of the way, hops it. Man, if that was fair, that would have been a run scored. Let's see if he can straighten that one out just a little bit.
See right the third baseman. In on the edge of the grass right there.
Yeah, a little surprising.
Giving Tejada plenty of room to work with for the leadoff of third base.
Ball 4, and Tomlinson walks another runner, another Whaler here, and the Whalers are in business with 1 out, runners on first and third, and I got a hunch Tejada's going to be on the move here.
Ronald Del Rosario Gomez steps to the plate. He struck out looking his first time up, and again, 1 out. Nantucket has this opportunity to pull off that double steal.
Yep. McKeever dancing off the third base. Here goes Tejada, foul tipped. Almost got to take that pitch.
Yeah.
if you're Del Rosario Gomez.
Because Tejada had that base
He was
stolen.
way stolen.
Shortstop for Cape Cod Tech, George Mecca, almost on the edge of the grass.
Ball high, and again, no throw down as McKeever was ready to scamper home if anything was going beyond that pitcher. 1-1 is the count. 1 out, runners on second and third for the Whalers. Base hit could potentially tie things up here as Tejada moves pretty well on second base. Ooh, just outside. Again, those are right at the knees, but they must be in or out.
Keegan Bedell in the cleanup spot. The right fielder waits on deck for Nantucket. He was hit by a pitch his first time at the plate.
Laced, base hit. 2 runners will score. Tejada on his horse. The throw will come and get cut off. Tejada's safe at second, and Del Rosario Gomez delivers with a 2-run base hit, and we're tied at 3.
A great base running there by Nantucket as well. They took off with the pitch knowing it was a low line drive, and both runners scored very easily. McKeever came in first, and Tejada, as we get a chance to see it on the replay here, and you can see they never stopped moving around the bases. So great job by the Whalers, and we've got a brand new ball game. Only 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and we're all tied up at 3 apiece. So give Del Rosario Gomez 2 RBIs, and he ends up at second base on the throw. 2 RBI single.
Great response by the Whalers as they come back to score 3 runs after going down early. Del Rosario Gomez on second with just 1 out. Keegan Bedell takes ball 1 as they've gotten to Tomlinson here.
And again, a game that Nantucket needs to win. We mentioned Tomlinson last time he was here last April, struck out 13 Nantucket batters.
Ball bounces to Mecca behind the plate, 2-1. And I don't know if he's rattled, but he's definitely a little annoyed.
Nobody warming up in the bullpen either for Cape Cod Tech.
Del Rosario Gomez off second. Ball's high, 3-1 now the count as Tomlinson having trouble finding the zone.
Second baseman Brett Hodgkiss plays a little bit off the bag at second. Del Rosario Gomez is a pretty healthy lead off of second base for Nantucket.
Laced down the third base line, that's a fair ball. Del Rosario Gomez will score. Rounding first and holding is Bedell, but he delivers with an RBI single, and the Whalers lead 4-3.
We haven't seen much of that this season, Chris, where the Whalers have put together back-to-back base hits and manufacturing runs. You know, a line drive to right center field a moment ago. This one scorched down the third baseline out into left field. And now all of a sudden, Nantucket looking down on Cape Cod Tech as Whalers have a 4-3 lead, still only 1 out.
The bats have come alive here in the latter part of the season, and it's showing. Throw down, safe is the runner. Bedell with the steal, good slide, a high throw as Bedell was able to slide underneath.
Pitch was called a ball too.
As
so
Lavin takes ball 1. And he'll take ball 2 as Tomlinson has got to be rattled here. He's given up 3 runs in the inning, still just 1 out. And now the runner, Whalers with another runner in scoring position. Lavin takes ball 3.
Lavin was called out on strikes in the borderline pitch that was just nipped the inside corner his last time up, which was just last inning. Now timeout called by Cape Cod
And
Tech.
another conversation here at the mound.
Fixed the scoreboard and made it 2 balls and a strike to Lavin. If he can reach base, Evan Cranston is up next. He had a single to right field and came around to score Nantucket's first run of the ball game last inning.
And just 1 out here.
And again, a big hole between
bottom of the 4th.
Shortstop George Mecca playing right behind the bag at second, so a huge hole between.
Lavin swings through it for strike 2.
Big hole between second and third if Lavin can punch it the other way.
Yeah. Had a tough time catching up with that pitch, so an opposite field hit is just what the doctor ordered. Held up. And the count runs full.
good discipline. It looked juicy and then just sort of fell off the table right before it crossed the plate on that pitch.
And again, Tomlinson working quickly here. Swing and a miss, same pitch, just couldn't catch up to it. That's out number 2. Tomlinson bears down and gets Lavin on strikes, his 5th of the afternoon.
Evan Cranston now at the plate. Single to right and came around to score Nantucket's first run in the bottom of the second.
He takes high, ball 1.
Colby Lucas waits on deck for the Whalers.
Lucas also reached on a fielder's choice.
Nantucket with 3 runs across here in the bottom of the third so far.
And that one goes to the right side. Tough hop, fielded, however, and Cranston will be out number 3 here as we'll take a quick break here. In between innings, the Whalers strike 3 times to take a 4-3 lead. Head to the 4th inning, up 1.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast. We'll be right back on the NSC and NCTV with more Whalers Baseball.
Want to welcome you back to live action. Ground ball to the third baseman. Tejada handles and fires across. Good play. Out number 1 here in the top of the 4th. DC Collins going to take over the play-by-play here.
Thank you, Chris Morris. Great play there, there by Tejada to retire the first batter, Tyler Ellis, the left fielder for Cape Cod Tech. Nantucket with a 4-3 lead as we play here in the top of the 4th inning, scheduled for 7. A must-win for Nantucket today. Then they've got 2 against the Vineyard that they must win in order to be eligible for the playoffs. As the first pitch is pop foul, backing out of play by George Mecca, the number 9 batter, the shortstop. Reached on a sacrifice bunt back in the top of the 2nd inning.
Woo.
Yeah, you can hear it, and we can definitely feel it out here.
Oh, yeah.
The wind's gusting to about 25 miles per hour, now blowing in from right field towards home plate. Here's the next pitch, and that's outside for a ball, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike to George Mecca. Bodie Bocino, the pitcher on the mound for Nantucket. Whalers scored 3 runs just a few moments ago in the bottom of the 3rd to take the 4-3 lead. Next one high and tight for a ball. So it's 2-1 to Mecca. And we do have a pitcher warming up.
Yeah, it's number 17, the junior Braden Wright.
And Wright right now is playing third base for the Crusaders. Next pitch fouled back to the screen. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to George Mecca. 1 out, bases empty as we play here in the top of the 4th inning, scheduled for 7 innings. Crusaders scored 1 in the top of the 1st and 2 more in the top of the 2nd. As the next pitch to Mecca stays alive by fouling that one back to the screen.
But a great answer by the Whalers as they notched 3 runs in that bottom of the 3rd. And even manufacturing runs, as you said, they just showed a lot of character. And this squad
Top of the order came through as Gent now strikes out, and that's out number 2 as Bocchino gets back-to-back outs. And so now bases empty, 2 outs, and Jackson Otis will be the batter. And good job by the Whalers. The top of the order came through, Chris.
Yeah.
It was McKeever, Tejada, and Del Rosario Gomez scoring those 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, all of them reaching base.
And that has pretty much been the second half of the season. Those guys have carried the load, and they're the 3 top talented guys, and it shows. And they're going to need that kind of production if the Whalers are going to win the next 3 games and play themselves into the postseason. Rip!
Oh, great stab by Tejada, the third base. A hot shot, went up the elevator, grabbed that one for the 3rd and final out. And guess what? Nantucket has themselves a 1-2-3 inning as Otis lines out to 3rd base, and that will retire the side here in the top of the 4th. Great play by Tejada. No runs, hits, errors, nobody left on base at the end of 3.5 here on Nantucket. It's still the Whalers 4 and the Crusaders 3. We will take a break and be back with the bottom of the 4th inning right after these words here on NCTV and the NSC. Maybe, just maybe. Have we had...
You know how they send the advisory announcements in an email? I never read those.
Same, and then I never know what's going on.
Your advisor should be showing the Whaler word during advisory. Or you can check out old and new episodes on Nantucket High School YouTube channel.
We also have sports updates, field coverage, arts, and entertainment.
And weather.
What days does it broadcast?
Thursdays!
NCTV is also showing our episodes on the local channels throughout the day.
And don't forget to like and follow our Instagram, Whaler_word,
for more behind-the-scenes content and further
updates.
But definitely every Thursday during advisory, right?
Bro, it's fire. You gotta check it out. And if your advisor isn't showing it, tell them to lock in.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
When you add resilient gardens to your outdoor spaces, you contribute to the long-term well-being of the island. Introduce yourself to the Nantucket Footprints virtual garden tours and find inspiration to cultivate biodiversity.
I want to welcome you back to live action here as the Whalers at bat here in the bottom of the 4th.
Colby Lucas will lead off, the second baseman in the 7th slot in the bottom of the 4th for Nantucket. He reached on a fielder's choice and then got tagged out on a crazy play which scored a run. Cranston, the first run for the Whalers back in the 2nd inning.
Good eye by Lucas for ball 1 there. Heck of a couple of great plays by Henry Tejada to get the Whalers out of that inning. Line drive and a hot shot grounder.
That's what they call it, the hot corner at
That's
third
right,
base.
Dave.
Had to climb the ladder to get the 3rd and final out right there. 4-3 Nantucket as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning, scheduled for 7. The count 3-0 to Lucas. Next pitch up high for a ball, so Colby Lucas draws a walk on just 4 pitches. And that's a leadoff base runner for Nantucket as Joel Silva, who reached on an error, will come to the plate.
And Colby Lucas can run the base paths. He should be on the move here unless something radical happens. Little meeting on the mound.
And it looks like we will have a new pitcher for Cape Cod Tech as Braden Wright will step in from 3rd base to go to the mound, and Tomlinson will move over to 3rd base. So Whalers maybe building a little confidence here as they knock the starting pitcher out of the ball game. Whalers with a runner on first base. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Nantucket up 4-3 and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th inning as Wright will take his warm-up tosses and Tomlinson will move over to 3rd base. So as Chris and I talked about, Nantucket's got to win. For any playoff hopes, they've got to win this game. Then they've got to go to the Vineyard on Saturday, weather permitting, and beat the Grapes. And then final regular season game is back here, which we'll have the live broadcast on the NSC and NCTV on Monday afternoon. They can win today, Saturday, and Monday. Guess what? They'll play another game.
Postseason baseball, baby. They're going to have a play in. And what a great way to spend your Memorial Day Monday right here at the baseball field. I mean, it doesn't get any more American than that. And to have a chance to go to the postseason for the first time in, we'll just call it many years. I'm going to try and find out how many years though that is, but we will know by Monday, certainly, if things go as they should, really. The Whalers should beat the Vineyard, and hopefully they can hang on here and take care of business, but we still got a lot of baseball to be played, of course.
Yeah, and a lot of weather possibly to deal with on Saturday and Monday to see what happens
starting
with that.
tomorrow, yeah.
But you can put the game on YouTube. If you have Comcast, you've got it on channel 1072 and channel 8. And if you've got one of those old fancy devices like a Roku that I have, you take the portable TV out by the fire. Well,
right.
It's going to be afternoon. Take it out by the grill.
There you go.
Put it on your phone if you want. Just pop it up, hook up the Bluetooth speaker. You've got baseball on Monday afternoon while you're flipping the burgers and hot dogs.
Absolutely.
So Nantucket right now with a 4-3 lead as we play in the bottom of the fourth inning. They've got a runner on first base, nobody out for the Whalers. And the new pitcher, Braden Wright, who moved from third base onto the mound, is still taking his warm-up tosses. Tomlinson moves over to third base. Colby Lucas is the runner at first for Nantucket, and Joel Silva, who reached on an error, will now be the batter for the Whalers.
And we did get word from our crew over at Vito Capizzo Stadium. The Whalers did take care of business, defeating Monomoy in convincing fashion, 15-1.
Okay.
The final in the senior recognition game for the Whalers, and the regular season game.
And they will be playing 15 into June as well, most likely.
Oh, absolutely. Bunt laid down, and it's a good one.
And Wright picks it up, fires to first in time. Moving to second base is Lucas. Great job on the sacrifice by Silva to put a runner in scoring position for Nantucket. Perfectly placed right there.
See if the Whalers can get a base hit here and score that duck from the pond.
Sacrifice goes
Lucas.
1-3. And now umpires are going to... Well, they had a little conference talking to the pitcher, but I think everything is set to go. So Lucas now the runner at second. Alex Horton the batter. The left fielder in the 9 slot today for Nantucket. He struck out swinging his first time up. And the first pitch is taken for a strike, so it's 0-1 as Lucas dances off of second base. Got the sounds that you hear in the background. The bullpen is down the left field line for Cape Cod Tech, so they're warming up literally 3 feet in front of Chris and I. Next pitch is a strike, and it's 0-2. And that is Nolan Baker, the senior, who is warming up. Right on the mound in relief as Horton takes a step out of the box. Colby Lucas, our partner in crime on NCTV and NSC, is leading off second base. Here's the pitch by Wright. Check swing. And called a strike.
Looked like a strike, yeah.
High strike right there. So it's 0-2 quickly on Horton. Eli McKeever, the catcher, waits on deck. Wright with the sign. Here's the next pitch.
Ooh,
and
just
that
missed
one,
again.
It must have been outside. So the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Scoreboard's got it at 2-2, so we'll go with that.
Horton back in the box. Here's the next pitch. This
Laced.
one smashed to left field, but right on a line.
Base hit.
It falls in front of the left fielder, Ellis.
Lucas on his horse, he'll score.
Lucas stands or scores standing up, and at second base right now with an RBI double is Alex Horton, the number 9 batter, coming through. And with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning, Nantucket takes a 5-3 lead over Cape Cod Tech. Good piece of hitting right there. It was in front of Ellis. He might have misjudged it, or it might have been knocked down by the wind. Looked like he had a beat on it. It fell in front of him. Throw comes in, but by that time, Lucas was standing up and crossing home plate. So an RBI double for Horton. Colby Lucas comes to score, and Nantucket flips over the lineup. Here's McKeever. He swings at the first pitch. Here's a high fly ball to left. Ellis underneath it, makes the catch. Tagging at second is Horton. Here's the throw to third, and it gets away from the third baseman. And Horton is safe at third base.
Ooh, the tough afternoon continues for Tomlinson, unable to field that ball. It had beaten the runner, but the Whalers able to manufacture an extra base, and now another runner just 90 feet away with 2 outs. Let's see if the Whalers can get a next 2-out base hit here from Henry Tejada.
As we've got, I think the coaching staff is going to ask the pitchers to move away from the third baseline, because that play, if it was overthrown, that play could have affected a lot of things with the pitchers warming up for Cape Cod Tech right in front of our broadcast position. So nothing changes on the scoreboard, though, except Nantucket takes a 5-3 lead. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for McKeever. Coming home to score is
Lucas.
Yep. And Horton now the runner at third base. And now Henry Tejada, the third baseman, who's been pretty good at the hot corner today on defense. Swings and misses at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Tejada struck out looking and then walked and scored a run back in the third.
He's actually poked one over the fence here for game-winning RBI against O'Brien in that first game. They had a doubleheader here last weekend. A couple of one-run affairs.
Pitches down low. So the count, 1 ball and 1 strikes. 2 outs, bottom of the fourth. Nantucket up 5-3. Horton leading off of third base. Tomlinson not holding him on. The 1-1 pitch. This one popped a mile high in the air, and it will hit the swamp behind home plate. So the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. If Tejada can reach base, it's Ronald Del Rosario Gomez who will step up. He struck out looking and also had a 2 RBI single back in the third. 1-2 the count to Tejada. As Wright looks in for the sign. And the next pitch, this one popped a mile high.
Good cut on it.
And that'll bounce towards the tennis courts and out of play.
Good cut by Tejada, man. He straightens that one out, and he's got himself a extra base hit.
Horton the runner at third base. Mecca the shortstop back on the edge of the grass. Horton with about a 5, now a 6-step lead. Dancing off of third. Next pitch to Tejada. Inside, almost hit him. And it's taken for a ball. So the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the wind is switching around.
Now it almost looks like it's blowing from right to left.
Yeah.
Another 2-2 pitch upcoming from right to Tejada.
Ooh,
and he
tips
just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Oh. Mecca unable to squeeze it. You can see him a little frustrated there.
So it stays 2-2. Nantucket 5, Cape Cod Tech 3. We play here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2 outs, and the Whalers with a runner at third base. Scheduled for 7 innings. Braden Wright, the relief pitcher, the right-hander on the mound. 2-2 pitch to the batter, Tejada. And that one swung on and missed. Pulled something off of it, and Tejada goes down swinging. But Nantucket does add a run here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They get a run. They do so on 1 hit. No errors. And there was a runner left on base, and at the end of 4 complete, in the best of 7, it's now Nantucket 5 and Cape Cod Tech 3. We will take a timeout. Be back with the top of the 5th inning after these words from our sponsors here on NCTV and the NSC.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Want to welcome you back to the Bacchus Lane Fields here Whalers hold a 5-3 lead as we play into the 5th inning, top of the 5th. Crusaders had a 3-0 lead. Whalers have rallied for 5 straight. They picked up a run last inning and have driven the starter, Tomlinson, out of the game. Starter for the Whalers, Bodie Buccino, still on the mound. He finds himself as the pitcher of record here.
Jackson Otis, the number 2 batter, the catcher, to lead off here for Cape Cod Tech, trailing 5-3 in the top of the 5th. And the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Otis. And that one bounces up there for a ball. So it's quickly 3-0.
Let him hit it. Got plenty of guys back there to help. Leadoff runners, what is it, like 25% of leadoff runners?
Now Otis squares the bunt, pulls it back, pitches high. So 4 pitches and a walk given up to Otis. Otis, before this, flied out to left field and also reached on an error by the first baseman. So he draws a leadoff walk to start the top of the 5th inning for Cape Cod Tech.
And we're going to have a little meeting at the mound here. I don't think it's a change of pitcher, but certainly want to go over situations here. Perhaps a base runner on the move, potential double play, but they will pull Buccino. Here you go.
So Buccino will exit. Mike Shea scheduled to be the batter. Nobody out, top of the 5th. Nantucket with a 5-3 lead. And Henry Tejada looks like he will take the baseball on top of the mound, see where Buccino goes off to. But we do have a pitching change here on Nantucket. Whalers up 5-3. Cape Cod Tech with a runner at first, nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. We already saw a pitching change for Cape Cod Tech last inning where Tomlinson moved over to 3rd and Braden Wright came in.
Yeah, I think
they'll give Tejada an opportunity for a few warm-up tosses.
Yeah, Buccino sits. They'll just put somebody else at 3rd base here. We'll have to figure out exactly who that will be. But I saw Buccino basically take a seat and somebody else tried it out. I can't get the number out there yet. It might be Colby Lucas moving over to play short and Del Rosario Gomez. And then we'll see. But Henry Tejada on the mound is as good as the Whalers got. He certainly is more than able, and he's just got to get 9 outs.
No big deal.
No big deal.
In a game that matters for playoff implications here. Tejada, we've seen him before, so Buccino exits with nobody out and a runner at first base in the 5th inning. He gave up 3 runs. Not all of those were earned. A couple of errors.
But the Whalers got to him.
But he calmed down, and the Buccino gave up a run in the 1st and then 2 in the 2nd inning, but calmed down after that. And he leaves with 3 strikeouts so far this afternoon. As we wait to see how the rest of the infield will take shape for the Whalers. They're up 5-3. Nobody out. Runner at first base. That is Otis, who drew a leadoff walk. Mike Shea will be the batter. He's 0 for 2 for the Crusaders. Struck out swinging, lined out to center field. And then Mason Tomlinson waits in the hole. He had an RBI double. That was back in the 1st, and he was also hit by a pitch.
Phantom pitch at best, but nonetheless.
So we'll see who comes in. Lucas is still at 2nd, and Cranston's
Dalton,
still at 1st. And Ron Del Rosario Gomez is at short. And
number 3. I believe that's Hanson Dalton.
So Hanson
in
Dalton
at 3rd.
So Buccino has exited the ball game for the rest of the afternoon.
Yep.
Kiever comes out to just have a few words with Tejada. And we are just about set to go. Shea the batter, first baseman for Cape Cod Tech, in the 3 slot today, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a line out. And he takes the first pitch, and it gets away. McKeever has it go all the way to the backstop, and moving up to second base is Jackson Otis. Wild pitch. And so now a runner in scoring position for Cape Cod Tech on Tejada's first pitch. You know, that's not what's supposed to happen after you have a conversation with your pitcher and catcher.
It's like turning it over after a timeout.
Yeah. So now a big lead for Otis off of second base. Lucas, the second baseman, pinches over. And the next pitch, that's foul right towards the Nantucket dugout on the first base side.
Evens up at 1-1.
So again, a right-handed batter is Shea. Lucas at second base for Nantucket, pinching over towards the bag. If Shea could take this one the other way, big hole between first and second. Instead,
base hit.
He slashes it through short and third. Rounding third base, coming home to score is Otis. Throw gets cut off. Otis scores easily. And just like that, Mike Shea has an RBI single, and Cape Cod Tech now trails 5-4 with only one out here in the top of the fifth inning.
Solid base hit. Shea was able to time it up. It's a good off-speed offering, and he pulled it through the left side. And the Whalers unable to get the ball in time, and here's Tomlinson with a chance to help himself out here.
Shea, the runner at first base. Tomlinson reached on an error, had an RBI, and also was hit by a pitch his last time up. He's a left-handed batter going up against the right-handed relief pitcher, Henry Tejada.
Still nobody out.
And about a 5-step lead off the bag for Shea at first. Next pitch, this one grounded towards first, gets under the glove of Cranston and all the way out into right field. Rounding second is Shea. He'll skid into third base, standing up. And now runners at the corners with still only one out for Cape Cod Tech here in the top of the fifth.
Nobody out.
That's right, nobody out. So Shea moves all the way from first to third. Tomlinson give him a single right down the line and right as it squeezed the line, and Cranston had it just slip under his glove. And so now the Crusaders in business here as Josh Cohen, the right fielder, steps to the plate. Runner goes, throw down to second base. Actually, they throw to short to make sure the runner from third doesn't take off. And standing in safely is Tomlinson. So now you've got Tomlinson at second, Shea at third. Nobody out for Cape Cod Tech. They trail 5-4 in the top of the fifth. And the next pitch is grounded back up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third is Shea. He'll score.
They're sending Tomlinson.
Tomlinson will be held up at third base. Now he's caught between third and home. And Dalton chases him down, throws to McKeever, tags him out, and he is out. And the runner stays at second base. Good job on the rundown by both Dalton and McKeever. One run does score, that's Shea, so we are tied at 5. There is an out, though, and a runner at second base for Cape Cod Tech as Tomlinson is tagged out. So Nantucket showing some discipline there. Dalton showing the ball to McKeever the entire time. And there's a bench warning being given to Cape Cod Tech. I don't think they agreed with the call, but the throw was there definitely in time, and McKeever tagged the runner.
So 2 runs in already, just 1 out now, and we're tied at 5 as this game goes back and forth.
And so the batter now is Braden Wright. Flied out to right, grounded out to the pitcher. Cohen is the runner at second. As Chris mentioned, we're tied at 5, 1 out, top of the fifth inning. Tejada on in relief for Nantucket. Looks in for the sign. And the pitch to right. Big swing and a miss. Good slider there by Tejada.
Could definitely use a strikeout here.
Wright started defensively at third base for Cape Cod Tech. Now moved into the relief, or onto the mound as a relief pitcher, and Tomlinson moved to third. Runner stays put. Next pitch is a ball, so it's 1-1. Oh, they called it a strike. 0-2 to Wright. Nolan Baker waits on deck. Cohen off of second. Next pitch.
Ooh, low strike
at
called.
the knees. The scoreboard had it wrong, so it's now 1-2. Pitch before that was a ball.
Benefit of the low strike there.
Baker on deck for Cape Cod Tech. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. It's something in the dirt. McKeever applies the tag. Now he is officially out. And Wright goes down swinging. That's the first strikeout for Tejada. More importantly, though, that's the second out here in the top of the fifth.
Situational strikeout right there. That's definitely was much needed for the Whalers here, as the Crusaders have scored twice already to tie it up.
And the runner didn't advance either. So Cohen's still dancing around out at second base. Here comes Baker, who we saw warming up for Cape Cod Tech last inning, right in front of us. First pitch from Tejada. Inside. Brushes Baker off the plate. So it's 1-0. Baker, the DH today in the 7th slot. Infield single. Scored a run and also grounded out back to the pitcher. Here's the next pitch. Back towards second. Lucas with the backhand fires to first.
Nice
in time.
job.
And the side is retired as the ground out goes 4-3. But Cape Cod Tech rallies to get 2 more to tie up the ball game. They get 2 runs. They do so on 2 hits. There was no errors and a runner left on base at the end of 4.5 here on Nantucket. We are now tied at 5. Cape Cod Tech 5, the Whalers 5, bottom of the 5th inning, right after these words from our sponsors on NCTV and the NSC.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Want to welcome you back to live action here as the Whalers come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th. We're tied up again. Here we go.
Ronald Del Rosario Gomez, the number 3 batter, the shortstop to lead off for Nantucket, tied at 5, bottom of the 5th. Del Rosario Gomez struck out looking and had a 2 RBI single back in the 3rd. That's when Nantucket played at 3 runs.
See if he can get something going here for the Whalers.
Keegan Bedell waits on deck. Andrew Lavin in the hole. First pitch is a ball. It's 1-0. As we come back, you just saw our fantastic sponsors as we come down to the end of the season, the end of the broadcast schedule for us. I want to thank everybody that's made a part of these broadcasts possible on the NSC and NCTV as well. We could not do it without your help. As the next pitch is grounded out towards short.
Going to be a tough play.
And picking it up is Mecca. Fires to first and got him just in time. Del Rosario Gomez slid head first and did not beat it out. And he is retired 6-3 on the putout. 1 away. But all those sponsors that you see, they have graciously helped us out during the broadcast. That's why we hope you patronize them. Tell them that you saw their ad on NCTV and the NSC. And if you'd like to be a sponsor as well, you can contact Frank, you can contact Charles, contact Chris.
Any of us.
And we can get you on the air.
Absolutely.
In time for the fall season coming up in 2025. Next pitch, off speed. This one hit foul down towards the moves and into the parking lot.
I know, we got my truck out there. That was pretty close.
I think I'm safe for now.
Yeah.
As Bedell steps to the plate, he was hit by a pitch, had an RBI single. And the RBI single was back in the 3rd.
Timely hitting by the Whalers throughout this game.
Here's the pitch by Wright.
Good
Another
cut.
foul ball. That drifts out of play.
Good cut.
But some of those sponsors, as we mentioned, have been with us since day one, and certainly since day one of this fall season a few months back. So Thank you very much for your help in getting these games on the air. Next pitch. Oh, and that hit. Bedell actually leaned into it a little bit, it looked like. It was definitely inside, but he'll take
Didn't
the
move
bruise.
out of the way.
He'll take the bruise and he'll take his base.
That's the second time he's been hit, right?
Yeah, he was hit back in the 2nd inning. So Bedell, the runner at first base. That's the go-ahead run for the Whalers. We are tied at 5. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm sorry, 1 out, Del Rosario Gomez. And here is Andrew Lavin, the DH in the 5 slot today. Struggled with 2 strikeouts today. Just saw his father walk by. Loved nothing more to see his son poke one towards right center for a base hit. Bedell off of first. Right now leans in for the sign for Cape Cod Tech. Runner goes. Lavin pulls the bunt back. It's a strike.
Easily
Throw
there.
down to second, and in time with the stolen base is Bedell.
Runner in scoring position, just 1 out for the Whalers. Looking to take the lead once again. Battled back from a 3-1 deficit.
Here's the next pitch to Lavin. The 0-1 is up high for a ball, so it's even at 1-1. And again, they're giving Lavin a ton of room if he can go the opposite way between short and third.
Fortunately, Lavin a full pull hitter.
1-1 pitch. Inside. He had to duck out of the way or back out of the way of that one, so it's 2-1. And the ball gets away as it's thrown back to the pitcher, but no advancement. Evan Cranston, the first baseman, waits on deck.
The adventure continues out there.
Bedell, the runner at second for the Whalers. 1 out, tied at 5, bottom of the 5th, scheduled for 7 innings. The count 2 balls and 1 strike to Andrew Lavin. Here is the pitch by Wright. High and away, and a great job coming out of the crouch by Otis, the catcher, to pick that one off. And so the count now goes to 3 balls and a strike. Bedell with about a 6-step lead off, 7-8-step lead now off the bag at second.
Hitter's pitch.
3-1 to Lavin. Here's the pitch, and that's high
Take
for a
your
ball.
base, son.
And Lavin will walk and trot down to first base. So now the Whalers with runners at first and second, 1 out. Cranston, the batter, had a single to right and scored a run in the second, and also grounded out to second back in the third. Colby Lucas waits on deck. Cranston's had an adventure in the field this afternoon, so a chance to make up for it right here at the plate. First pitch, big swing and a miss over top of that curveball. It's 0-1. Bedell leads off second. Lavin off of first. Still a big hole this time between short and third again for the right-handed batter, Cranston. Next one low and inside. So if he can pull this one on the ground, all kinds of room out in left field. Bedell off second, Lavin off first. Cranston the batter. Here's the next pitch. Big swing and a miss. Pulled the hook on that one. And so Cranston out in front of it. It's now 1-2.
Sidearm delivery from Wright definitely has some action on it. And Cranston unable to catch up to it.
Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss over top of that one. And Cranston goes down swinging. And that is out number 2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So here comes Colby Lucas, the second baseman, in the 7th slot today for Nantucket.
Big spot for Colby, 2-out opportunity.
Grounded into a fielder's choice, also walked and scored a run off of that walk in the 4th.
Takes one low.
Again, Bedell still leads off of second base for the Whalers. Lavin off of first. We're tied at 5, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, scheduled for 7 innings. And a must-win for Nantucket to stay alive in the playoff chase.
Ooh,
next pitch
good
fouled
cut.
at home plate. 1-1 now, the count to Lucas. Joao Silva waits on deck.
Runners will be off with any contact now with 2 out. So if Lucas can get one beyond the infield here, it should be a run scored.
Mecca moves back to his regular shortstop position, so big hole between first and second now. Next pitch, pop foul back to the swamp.
Another good cut.
1-2 the count as the wind has lightened up just a bit here, and skies have gotten a little brighter here on Nantucket. Temperature's still in the upper 40s now. It feels like it could be minus 20 right now, Chris.
It's cold.
Runners lead off first and second. The 1-2 pitch, and that hits him. So Lucas gets plunked in the shoulder and will take his base at first, and that loads him up full of Whalers here with
go.
2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, tied at 5. And here comes Joao Silva to the plate. Reached on an error and a sacrifice bunt back to the pitcher. So Bedell moves to third base for Nantucket. Lavin up to second. And Lucas at first.
Big spot for Silva here with 2 outs. Lots of ducks on the pond.
2 outs, run on anything. A base hit could score 2 runs for the
Wild
Whalers.
pitch, anything.
A huge lead for Bedell at third. Here's a ground ball
Get
towards third. It's picked up by the third baseman. Tomlinson throws the first in time, and they just get the runner,
nice
Silva.
Scoop.
Oh, that's a great play by Tomlinson right there to pick it up across his body, fire just in time, and that retires the side as Silva grounds out 5-3.
Crusaders are psyched up. They should be. That was a good defensive play. Saved at least 1 run.
So Nantucket rallies but can't put anything across. No runs. There was 1 hit, no errors, and Nantucket leaves them loaded. End of 5 complete here on the island. It's still Cape Cod Tech 5 and Nantucket 5. Top of the 6th inning with Chris Morris comes your way right after these words here on NCTV and the NSC.
First hoop, Simpson gathers for Nantucket. Francis over to Aguilar. He'll look for 3. Got it! Huge shot from Cup.
Good afternoon. I'm here with Julian Sear and Thomas Smokley today. Would you please introduce yourselves to our lovely Whaler Word fans?
Sure. Thanks, Vicky, for having us here today. I'm Julian Sear. I represent Nantucket as well as Martha's Vineyard and most of the towns on Cape Cod in the Massachusetts Senate.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Thomas Smokley. I'm a brand new state representative for Falmouth, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket.
And what brings you to Nantucket in February?
So we try to come to the island as much as we can. We have a few meetings today. We're going to meet with the select board this evening. We're having some conversations about state support for our island home. What else are we up to today?
We're also going to have lunch with some of the older adults that we have here on the island. So it's great that we're able to visit the high school as well as visit with.
I want to welcome you back to live action here from the NHS baseball fields off Bacchus Lane. Beautiful complex, opened up a couple years ago. We got a tie ball game here as we head to the top of the 6th. Henry Tejada on the mound for the Whalers. He came in relief of Bodie Buccino and has done a pretty good job. We've got Ellis, Mecca back to the top of the order in Ghent for the Crusaders. Coming off a good play in the field. We'll see if it translates into some offense. Count evens up at 1-1. Tejada firing in pretty good.
Ellis reached on an error, scored a run in the top of the 2nd, grounded out to 3rd his last plate appearance.
Happy to be bringing you live coverage here of Whalers baseball. The boys just joined us from Vito Capizzo Stadium. The Whalers boys lacrosse team won their 10th game on the season, 15-1 over Monomoy, completing the season sweep. Count runs to 3-1 as Tejada bounces it in to Eli McKeever. Trying to keep this a 5-5 affair. Whalers had the bases loaded. Swing and a miss, strike 2 in the bottom of the 5th, but were unable to come up with a 2-out hit and left them loaded. Glad to be hanging out here with DC Collins, and Tejada overpowers Ellis as he frustratingly throws his bat after striking out for out number 1 here in the 6th.
Here's George Mecca, the shortstop, number 9 batter, had a sacrifice back to the pitcher and also struck out swinging his last time up.
Tejada firing in, and another strike. Good fastball from Henry Tejada. 0-1 the count. Second, next offering is well high. Good catch by McKeever over the head of the fairly short batter. 1-1 offering is another ball.
Tejada pretty deliberate, getting the ball back and ready to fire.
I love it.
Right away. Well, he's got short sleeves on. He's probably cold too.
Sure. He's got youth on us though. Strike at the knees. Tejada is firing. You can hear the mitt of McKeever smacking as the ball comes in. The 2-2 offering to Ellis. He reaches out and pokes it to Cranston, who squeezes this one. It's been an adventure over at first base, to say the least. But he was able to get that one for out number 2 here in the top of the 6th. We're tied at 5.
Yeah, that's got to make Cranston feel just a little bit better to an excuse me check swing pop-up, and he puts it away.
Connor Gent, the batter for the Crusaders. He's the leadoff hitter.
Gent today has walked, scored a run, walked again in the second, then lined out to third on a great play by Tejada. And that was back in the top of the 4th inning to end the top of the 4th.
One 1-0 offering is fouled off, evens up the count at 1-1. I love it. Tejada's just coming in here and firing.
Yeah, struggled a little bit last inning, but got out of it.
They were able to time him up. He has mixed pitches a little bit here in this inning. Count runs to 2-1. Low with that offering. Here's one down the third base line. Foul. Handled by Dalton. Two and two the count, 2 outs. We're tied at 5, top of the 6th. The offering from Tejada is off speed and over for strike 3. Looking, so Tejada picks up a couple of strikeouts here in the inning, and the Whalers will come to bat in the bottom of the 6th. We're going to keep it here because we're going to talk some more baseball here, get you all set up for the remainder of our broadcast season and the regular season for both lacrosse and baseball. We just got word to Charles Douglas, who had made his way over from Vito Capizzo Stadium. There will be no lacrosse game tomorrow. It has been postponed. We'll have to see about a makeup because the dates are kind of screwy with the holiday weekend and boats and already been rescheduled once at Boston Latin game. So if it comes down to a no contest, that actually hurts the Whalers' chances because they won't receive the full amount of points as if they were to play and defeat them by 7. That's getting pretty picky, but it could come into play if the Whalers are trying to get into that top 4 spot. They're right now just, 0.16 behind the 4th place team, which is Ipswich as of yesterday's rankings. They actually jumped both the Whalers and Manchester Essex. Essex actually flipped down, so I didn't look at the schedule. Maybe they played each other. But Ipswich has got a couple of tough games, including undefeated Newburyport next. And then they've got, I forget who they had after that, but it was a 1-15 team. So if they lose to Newburyport and then somehow don't smoke the team that was 1-15, that could be enough to put the Whalers into that top 4 spot. On the girls' side of things, they have a couple of games left, including Friday's game against St. John Paul, and then they finish up the regular season against the Vineyard on Saturday. So if you got nothing going on, or if you want to catch some good lacrosse, join us for some early afternoon lacrosse action from Vito Capizzo Stadium as the girls finish up their season. It'll be senior recognition game for 7 seniors actually on the squad, and it will be the final regular season home game for head coach Jamie Lower, who is finishing up her illustrious career as the varsity lacrosse coach on the girls' side.
And hopefully both of those teams will play into the early weeks, mid-weeks of June.
Absolutely.
So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, Chris. 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Cape Cod Tech. They've left 4 runners on base, 5 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors for Nantucket. They stranded 6 runners on base, including the bases loaded to end the last inning.
It'll be Alex Horton, the leadoff for the Whalers. Then back to the top of the lineup, Eli McKeever and Henry Tejada.
And for Horton,
Braden Wright.
Horton struck out swinging and then had an RBI double back in the 4th.
Looks at a ball. 2-0. Any base runner helps out here. See if he can work a walk. He's got a hitter's count. Low ball 3. And Alex Horton can definitely run, so this might be a sacrifice opportunity if he can reach base here. 3-0 count from Braden Wright. The offering takes strike 1. Horton taking all the way on that pitch.
Yeah, right down the
wisely.
And didn't even take the bat off of his shoulders.
It's one of those ones where you sort of fake bunt and try and distract the pitcher. 3-1 offering from Braden Wright to Alex Horton. Swing and lifted into center field. Can of corn, a little bit of wind, and a couple of steps in for Connor Gent, and he squeezes it for out number 1. As Horton is retired, brings up the top of the lineup, and Eli McKeever. DC, what's he done today?
Ground out to third, also walked, stole a base, and scored a run. That was in the third, and had the sacrifice fly last inning.
Let's see if he can get into something here with 1 out as the Whalers try and manufacture something here. We're tied at 5 in the bottom of the 6th.
There is some activity in the bullpen for Nantucket, too. And then as we look, it'll be the 2-3.
Looks like Hanson Dalton from way back here, but I can't tell.
Yep, number 3, yeah. Right-handed pitcher warming up. 2, 3, and 4 batters on the top of the 7th for Cape Cod Tech. We'll
good eye.
Give you those stats of what they've done so far in just a bit.
2-0 the count to McKeever. Hitter's pitch here. Let's see if Eli can give this one a little bit of a ride here. Off-speed offering is inside for ball 3.
You think the coaching staff said something to Nantucket after the last inning saying just be patient? Because the bats have not been moving that much as they used to.
Yeah.
Again, this is a relief pitcher. This is Wright who came in for Tomlinson.
Always wise to run the pitch counts. McKeever takes a strike.
And these guys, this is the second time around
on Wright
that they have. Yes. Yep.
Yep. There's the 3-1 offering from Wright. Sidearm delivery, ripped to shortstop. Bad hop, eats him up, and McKeever will reach on the error. Could probably score that infield single, but tough spot.
That's Mecca at shortstop, and he and Del Rosario Gomez for Nantucket are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
2 bad hops that happened to Del Rosario Gomez earlier in this game. But a break for Nantucket.
Here's an opportunity with 1 out for the Whalers. McKeever on first base. He's got good wheels. Tejada at the plate. He's got a big stick. See if something can happen. McKeever's taken off. Off-speed pitch, no chance. McKeever in there easily. So now a runner in scoring position for the Whalers. I didn't catch what the call was. They called it a ball, so 1-0 to Tejada. A base hit could equal a run here for the Whalers.
Tejada
tied at 5.
Tejada struck out twice today, walked and scored a run for Nantucket.
Bottom of the 6th. So time was called by the umpire. And the coach for the Crusaders is out talking to Mr. Kearney. That's Frank Zano. And it was a quick conversation.
Well, the home plate umpire almost lifted up his mask, but he did say, I have to grant the time.
Yeah.
So the count now 0-1 to Tejada.
Here's the offering from Wright. High, ball 1. McKeever stays put on second base. He represents the leading run for the Whalers. Low ball 2 to Tejada.
All right, just seems all kinds of confused up on the mound right now for Cape Cod
Not
Tech.
comfortable.
Yep. No tempo, no rhythm.
And he has been erratic to say the least.
Meantime, you got McKeever dancing off a second for the Whalers.
Low ball 3.
Ronald Del Rosario Gomez
and
waits
they're
on
going to
deck.
make a pitching change here. So the Crusaders will make a pitching change. So he will inherit. So that's number 16, Nolan Baker. We saw him warming up right in front of us, like literally right in front of us. And he will inherit a 3-1 count and a runner on second base. So Coach Pearson has an opportunity maybe here to do something in motion, but either way, it's a hitter's pitch here.
Yeah, and
coming into it.
And you throw in a relief pitcher inheriting a 3-1 count.
That's just not fair.
At least like to have the pitcher finish off with a batter
fresh,
with a hit,
yeah.
an out, strikeout, something like that. But no, you're going to put Baker in a precarious position right now with a runner at second base. And yes, as you mentioned, he was warming up, but now coming in almost dead cold and trying to get out a batter with a 3-1 count.
And again, it's got to be almost like you almost take a pitch here, even if it is a strike, because to see what he's got, you know. It's an interesting move by Coach Zano.
So it looks
and as we noted, Wright just didn't look right. He looked like he was coming undone.
He looks like he's staying in the ball game. He trotted out towards second base for the moment. We'll have to see. There might be some musical chairs here going on with the infielders for Cape Cod Tech. For the top of the 7th inning, once we get there for Cape Cod Tech, it'll be Otis, Shea, and Tomlinson. Otis flied out, reached on an error wild pitch, scored a run. Shea struck out, lined out, had an RBI single. Tomlinson, double, RBI hit by pitch, and a single. So about a 500 average between those three batters.
Yeah, they have done the damage for sure.
Yeah, Tejada's going to have his work cut out for him, but we got to get there first. He'd love to have a couple extra runs to work with here.
Anything here.
So it looks like Wright is going to go in for Hodgkiss at second. Braden Wright just came off the mound.
And that was it as Nolan Baker, the senior, takes over on the mound.
Tomlinson, I believe, is still at third base.
I like that. The umpire makes him tuck in his shirt.
Keep him warm. Come on, bud.
Yeah, just look the part, my friend. Look the part. So another good competitive game here between these two teams off island. It was a 1-run game. And we are tied at 5 here in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, 3-1 the count as Nolan Baker inherits the count and the runner on second. And we'll face a very hot bat in Henry Tejada here. Let's see if Tejada can time one up. They go back, a fake throw, and Baker gets back in there, is ready. Here's the 3-1 offering. Ripped through the hole. That's going to score a run. The Whalers are going to take the lead as Tejada delivers with a 1-out base hit. 6-5. Whalers take the lead. Great piece of hitting by Tejada. Again, I'm like, he should just take a pitch just to see it. He saw what he liked, and he ripped it right down, right up the middle for a base hit. Perfectly placed.
Right past right out into center field too, and it was bobbled by Gent for a moment. Run was going to score either way, but Tejada with the go-ahead RBI here, and he's at first base.
And here's Del Rosario Gomez. He lashes one. Oh! Wow, what a play! Holy smokes! Baker went down, he caught it, and then was able to double off the runner. Oh my goodness gracious.
We're going to get a look at it here. We've got a special monitor here at the broadcast position, but he's lucky that didn't take his head off.
My goodness. Great job by our camera crew to catch that one. Unbelievable play by Nolan Baker to get out of the inning. The Whalers score a run. What dramatics we have here at Bacchus Lane. That's great stuff. We're going to keep it right here again as we head to the top of the 7th. The Whalers 3 outs away from picking up victory number 8 and doing what they have to do here to give themselves a chance to play some postseason baseball for the first time in quite some time. Great stuff here. It'll be Henry Tejada taking the ball here, and he scored the 6th run, which gave the Whalers the lead here, and now he can do something special here and give the Whalers a win. And it's basically playoff baseball already because it's win and move on.
All Nantucket has to do is get 3 outs. But you say that now, but there's no game clock, there's no shot clock, there's no 4 corners in baseball. You can't ice the puck. You've got to get the 3 outs. And as we switch over the scorecard here.
2, 3, 4 hitters, so
Jackson
plenty
Otis,
of work to do.
Jackson Otis will lead off, the catcher in the number 2 slot. Flied out, reached on an error, and also scored a run after a walk and advanced on a wild pitch. Mike Shea, second batter that Tejada will face, struck out, swinging, lined out to center, had an RBI single and scored a run in the 5th. And then Mason Tomlinson had an RBI double and also was hit by a pitch and then a single to right. So not the easiest of batters that Tejada's going to have to face right here.
Meat of the lineup.
They just have to buckle down and get one game at a time. That's all it is. The 2 about the Vineyard you can't worry about. Again, we've got weather coming in.
Yep.
But this game right here, and especially battling back from 3-1, where last year when we were here, Chris, as soon as the other team got the lead, it's like, okay,
it
was panic mode for Nantucket, and they sort of shut down. Here, the feistiness, the stick-to-itiveness to get back in the ball game and actually take the lead on that too.
It's just been great. It's been fun to watch. This has just been a much more active team and
the
and
excitement
fun to watch.
is keeping me warm.
Absolutely.
Everything else is making me frozen.
100%. And Nolan Baker just saved his life there with that double play. What an incredible play to come up with that baseball. I had that happen to me once in Little League. That was it.
Scared?
Incredible
That was
play.
scary. I mean, we saw the replay on the phone, on the monitor here, and my gosh.
We got Coach Zano sitting right in front of us. He's shaking his head still.
He's my senior. He's got a sprained ankle. He wasn't going to even play the last 2 games. And I said, I'm going to put him on the mound and go with him. I'm going to die with him.
There you go.
5 freshmen in the lineup.
That's what baseball's all about, baby.
Saved a couple of runs possibly there.
Said he's his lone senior and had a sprained ankle, but they're battling for their playoff lives just like the Whalers are. They got to win out here and get to that play-in scenario. They're 7-9 coming into today. Whalers 7-10 coming into today with 3 games left. Tejada with the 1-0 offering, or the 0-1 offering, laced foul.
First pitch was called a strike, so quickly 0-2. Otis the batter again, flied out to left, reached on an error, scored a run after a walk in the 5th.
Here's the 0-2 offering inside, nearly hit him. So 1-2 now the count.
A little bit low on that one.
Just missed. 2-2 now the count. Henry Tejada in relief, looking to extend the season for the Whalers. Ball goes low, 3-2 now the count. Full.
Mike Shea waits on deck for the Crusaders. Base is empty, nobody out. 6-5 lead for Nantucket.
Strike 3. Otis looks at a perfect pitch right at the knees, but couldn't pull the trigger. Tejada with a huge strikeout to start off the top of the 7th.
So here's Mike Shea, the 3rd batter in the lineup. First baseman for Cape Cod Tech. Struck out swinging, lined out to center, had an RBI single in the 5th and came around to score the 5th run.
Breaking ball, just misses. 1-0.
And Tomlinson, the left-handed batter, waits on deck.
Again, we had a game scheduled for tomorrow. That has been postponed. We'll see what and if that comes to fruition. So we're back at it again on Friday. Strike called from Tejada. Another good breaking ball finds the zone. It's now 1-1. Swing and a miss. That pitch over his head, a little undisciplined there, was Shea. And it's now 1-2. One out.
Infielders at regular depth. Del Rosario playing a little bit back at short.
Swing and a miss. Tejada with the low strike. And Shea unable to get there. 2 down now for the Whalers, just 1 out away from extending their season, and this is going to be a battle here. Mason Tomlinson steps in. We'll see if we can maybe gather somebody for a quick interview after the game.
After Nantucket gets this out, right?
Right. Right.
Can't
Exactly.
get ahead of ourselves.
Ball, first pitch is high for ball 1. Strike. Tomlinson disagrees, but the pitch The count evens up at 1-1.
Tomlinson, an RBI double hit by a pitch and a single to right, his last plate appearance.
Pitch is high from Tejada. Tried to sneak in another breaking ball there. 2-1 now the count. 2 down here. Whalers up 6-5.
If he can reach base, Josh Cohen, the batter, a single
Fouled
and 2 strikeouts.
off.
Crusaders down to their last strike.
2-2 the count to Tomlinson. Whalers up 6-5. 2 down in the 7th. Here's the offering from Tejada. Swing and a miss. Tagged out, and the Whalers win. They move to within 2 games of playing postseason baseball for the first time in quite some time. Congratulations to the Whalers. What a comeback. They came back 3 times in the game to pull it off. Oh, just another example of this team's character coming to fruition and doing the right things at the right time. Man, it is exciting to be a baseball fan here on Nantucket.
Oh, what a great win by Nantucket. We mentioned they got down. They were down 3-0 going into the bottom of the 2nd inning. And, you know, as we talked about in games past and years past, all right, shut the book.
Yep.
You know, just play out the rest of the game. They battled back. They scored 1 run. They got 1 back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 3 more in the bottom of the 3rd to take the lead. Another one in the bottom of the 4th, but then gave up 2 in the top of the 5th, and you thought, uh-oh, the doors are going to come off. But the pitching held true. Give great credit to Tejada. When he first came in, it looked a little ugly through the first few batters.
They were able to time him up, yeah.
But the last 2 innings, Chris, he set down the Crusaders 1-2-3. 5 strikeouts and a pop-out. That's what Tejada did in the inning number 6.
Overpowering.
And inning number 7 as well. So he picked up the speed. He figured out what was going on and said, okay, now he's got to lead his team to victory, and he did that on the mound tonight. And give tons of credit to the Whalers. Again, they still have 2 games to play against the Vineyard. Go figure.
But it's playoffs. It's win and move on. You won one, now you move on to the next.
Storybook ending is possible.
Absolutely a storybook ending. We're going to find out how long it's been the postseason drought for Nantucket baseball. But again, a credit to Coach Pearson and his staff for getting this team ready for the moment. It wasn't too much of a moment. They had a couple of mistakes. Everyone, this is high school baseball. You're going to make mistakes, but they overcame them with some timely hits and did things situationally to win and pitching. It was all about pitching. Bodie Buccino started off the game, gave up a few runs, but mowed them down when he needed to. And Henry Tejada came in and fired strikes and did a great job. Talking about a great job, our crew here today, unbelievable, battling these elements. We've got a new camera operator as well. Thanks very much to Adriana. Sean Davis, of course, always does a phenomenal job. Frank Schott, man, they were all over the place dealing with some wires and things and monitors out and cameras out, battling these elements. Fantastic job capturing a Whalers win. And of course, DC Collins, man, nobody calls a better baseball game than this guy. I'm just happy to be hanging out with him.
Thank you, Chris.
And looks like we're going to have some fun here coming up on Monday.
Yeah, I will be here Monday afternoon. Want to give you one more stat. 8 out of the 9 batters for Nantucket reached base today. So that's a compliment to a well-rounded baseball team helping out on the offensive end and scoring 6 runs today. So congratulations. They've got to go to the Vineyard on Saturday, weather permitting. But who knows? Monday afternoon could be something special here on Nantucket on Memorial Day.
Absolutely. I hope it happens. I've got a little game changer thing that's on my phone that I can sort of watch it. It's like a game cast. So I will be tuning in on Saturday to see what's going on the Vineyard. And it is definitely a winnable game. But they took care of business here this afternoon to set up what could be a very dramatic Memorial Day weekend of baseball here on Nantucket.
I want to say one last thank you to our sponsors as well. I know we're coming down to the end of the season. Hopefully we'll have a few playoff games for you to broadcast here on NCTV and the NSC. But thanks to all the sponsors that have jumped on since September over the years as well. And as we come down, if you'd like to get on again, call NCTV, talk to Frank, talk to Charles. We could definitely use the sponsorships for the playoff games and for the season ahead too in September, because this team is building right now.
Absolutely.
This baseball team is building, and hopefully we'll be able to follow.
This is a fun one to watch. Thanks very much for joining us here, Whalers Nation. We got a reason to celebrate. The Whalers win a game, move to 8-10, and have an opportunity to play some postseason baseball. Enjoy this one, Whalers Nation. Doesn't happen often, and we're happy to have captured it for you. And it will live up on YouTube, and you can, of course, get a replay of the game here coming up soon on NCTV as well. for the entire crew here this afternoon, DC Collins and I, great stuff. The Whalers win, and we can sleep well tonight here, Whalers Nation. Whalers come back from behind to win 6-5 and have a chance to extend the season beyond the regular season. Have a good night, Whalers Nation.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSE provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Underwriting support for the NSC is brought to you in part by Myrick, the largest full-service law firm in Central Mass, also serving the Cape and Islands. Visit MyrickLaw.com to learn how Myrick can assist you with your legal needs. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.